On to our next candidate. You ready?
I'm ready.
Minority incumbent Senator Jim Moylan. Good morning, Senator.
Hi, good morning. Morning, Chris.
today?
Good morning, Bree.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us here at 9:17 to go ahead and start the clock. I guess we'll start with political status here, Senator. That's on the list there of topics. So what is your stance on the decolonization of Guam, and is there any political status that you support as a sitting senator in the Guam legislature?
Sure. Political status. What I really feel is it's the people's vote, and we need to have the vote of the people in order to determine what our status shall be. Right. We have a few things on the table of independency, statehood, and I think we've already removed Commonwealth because there's really that doesn't really necessarily exist. But we need the education for the political status for our people to determine what's the best choice, right? And it's the vote of the people. It's not necessarily the vote of the legislature. And first, it's going to take the education part, and next, after that, then we put those choices on the ballot. Should have been on the ballot, I think, this term, but that never got brought up. You know, we have all these folks going to different places and discussing different things, and we have different groups making their points, being heard for independence and others for statehood, which is all good. But we need the education campaign for everybody to understand what those choices actually mean. And then we can place that vote out there. And then your leaders will go out there to support that and move it forward, because we are under Department of the Interior, and see how we can move this forward from there. Mm-hmm. So I want things to move forward. Whichever direction the majority of the people are going to vote for, we should. And we just got to hurry up and get this vote done so we can move forward with some decision.
Have you made up your mind on which of these status options you would vote for if that your vote was held today?
Not necessarily. I would still consider both options, but my main concern is on the taxation of the island. How would this affect our taxation? Are we in control of our taxation, and how would we invest this money? How would it affect the people's pocketbook? Will we be spending more or not? You know, the choice of making what direction we want the island to move forward is very important. But can we afford to do this? And then once knowing that, then sure, we can move forward. I got to weigh a few more things out, but you know, we still have we can determine our own tax code if we wanted to, and we haven't done that yet. What are we doing as a free associated territory to help ourselves with this current you know, with our U.S. passport and with our current situation, our status, right? What have we done as a community to really take a full advantage of that? You know, and some people will say that, you know, maybe it's fine the way we are too, status quo. Mm-hmm. That could be, but are we taking full advantage of what we should be doing with inviting other businesses from Asia's side on over to Guam and bringing other companies, other where they can get some qualified certificates? But there's a lot of proposals that I mentioned out there, and some measures that I put forth to bring in more economic growth for the island.
Right.
Because we can fight all we want about what our political status will be, but can we survive? Mm-hmm. You know, and look at our situation today. Are we surviving? Whether what political status it will be, you know, I don't think that you know, either one, whichever somebody says it could be statehood, it could be independence, or it could be status quo. But are we doing the best in the situation we are at now?
You know,
and
Senator, I wanted to switch topics, because, you know, you are a member of the minority in the Guam legislature, and it's no secret that you had a hard time getting any of your bills even heard right. in the Democratic majority legislature. And so, having said that, if you are reelected, if you could just provide us your top 3 priorities.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Yeah, well, for the 35th Guam legislature, we introduced several bills right out of the gate, right? One of them was BBT, the BBT reduction. And we had a public hearing for that, so I was happy for that. But then we never got it to session floor. Of course, we had some other situations that came up, and if you want to talk about that, I'll be happy to as well. But we still have the economy to consider, and my priority, as it was in the 35th and continues to be in the 36th, is the economy. How do we help our small businesses, our middle class, to keep on going? And that's by building the economy. And we've done other measures too. There's something called the test law that we had a public hearing for as well. That's weights and measurements of the goods in containers that come in through our seaports that is taxed. And that tax has increased, and that increases the cost of goods. You know, you from the shipping, then when you put it on the shelf, it increases the cost of goods. And then fuel tax, it increases the cost of goods as well. And I don't think our government has provided the services that it should have for those increased taxes. And with the BBT, that initially was supposed to be a 6 months BBT, then it became a 1 year BBT, and now to the infamous forever 5% BBT. But where is the results that we are supposed to get from our government services to provide for those increased taxes? Have we allowed our Department of Education to improve by increasing their budget? No. Has the hospital improved by getting the help it needs for its infrastructure? No. Has the police department improved by getting more police officers? Well, yeah, that's from past, but where's the next ones and the next? Do we have enough police cars and so forth? So I don't see those results, but I do see the results of increased government size. And why are we doing that when we're in a situation now that it's even more difficult, and the writing is even clearer on the wall what we must do, and that's looking at the organization of the government, and can we streamline that, and can we cut the taxes for the people, because it's the people that are affecting this, feel this the greatest. When they go out and buy their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and the cost of ingredients cost you $11, you know, why would I want to do that? The can of Spam and canned meat gone up. The price, the taxes on fuel hasn't adjusted either. So economy will still be my focus as well, because it all evolves around that.
Right, yeah.
If you want to help Department of Education, if you want to help public health, if you want to help public safety, it all takes money. So I want to help build the economy.
Right, Senator. We had the policy director for Adelup. I think he's one of your biggest fans, Carlo Branch, on earlier. And I want to kind of couple this next question with a comment from Onyeka, who writes, Senator Moylan has a poor record of seeing his bills into real legislation. And I'll add to that by what Carlo had said. He brought up and there was a clip that was going around about a bill of yours. You finally got the shot to put it on the floor, and you ended up withdrawing it. So how do you address that criticism that's out there that Senator Moylan, doesn't get results? Doesn't get his bills passed, or if you could.
It's kind of hard if it's not on the agenda.
I'm sorry. So I'm trying to understand your question. It's like I introduced the measures, but it doesn't go further. Is that what you're asking me? I can hardly hear.
Yeah.
It's one of the viewers.
One of our viewers. I mean, they're just asking about your record of getting your bills passed, and how would you respond to that?
Oh, okay. So the Organic Act says senators are supposed to write bills, right, and confirm appointments and balance the budget. So I do. I think I got 60 some bills, but out of that maybe 3 or 4 passed. Could have been more, but who's the majority, right? Who's in charge? It's politics. It's come on. That's what it comes down to. If the administration wants to run the ship a certain way, that's what they're going to do. But as minority, you're there to voice your opinion, and just because somebody else is in charge of the ship doesn't mean you don't do nothing. You keep fighting, right? For example, during this pandemic, we were on a shutdown. The legislature was basically initially we were non-essential because we weren't in session. But I thought that we should get back in session. I picketed out there for 3 days, holding up a sign that said, holding session to help the unemployed is not premature. Because I was told that if you're going to have session now, it's premature. we're going to get federal money. Just wait and see, right? That was back in April, and people are still now finally getting their money, and they're still being paid out. I'm glad for that. Hooray, right? But if the bills don't get passed, that's not. I did the fight. The bills didn't get passed because it didn't get voted on. It's the majority of people that didn't want it to move any further. If you like the bills, if you wanted your taxes reduced, well, then talk to the people that didn't vote for it. It's not because I introduced it and it wasn't passed. It's because it was introduced and it wasn't entertained, and it didn't get to the floor for session and fought for. Now that last one we had, where I think we were in session and we were discussing a measure to increase the Dave Santos amendment from to $250,000, and I made a proposal to increase that to, instead of 250, make it $500,000. Let's help the small businesses. That got knocked down. That didn't go any further. Was it wrong that I offered that amendment? I don't think so. I think it was a good idea. It just wasn't voted on. So that's how it goes. After that was I think Senator Theresa Light. She made a bold move, and she said on that same bill that we were discussing about on session floor, she said, "Hey, let's reduce the BBT." She made an amendment to reduce the BBT to 4%, and it failed. Right? I voted yes to go, wow, that's great, Therese. Yeah, let's do that. But we didn't have the votes on the floor. Is that the senator's fault for making that amendment? No, it's not. It was a good move on the senator's part. I applaud her for that. So I thought, well, I'm going to introduce Bill 9 back in January, which when it was originally introduced in 2019, I introduced Bill 9, and first it went around one time. I didn't have the votes to get the measure back on the floor. So what do you know? They did a recount. I didn't ask for the recount. They did a recount, and it had the votes by one. So I said, okay, this bill was introduced in January of 2019, and things are a little bit different now. I just need some time. Let's put this on. Set this bill aside, keep it on the session agenda, and let me come back and I'll do some amendments to it. But if we're going to battle this on the floor right now, there's going to be amendments after amendments and after amendments, and it's not going to go so well. So if we really want to discuss this, then just allow me this period. I'm just asking for it to come onto the session agenda, and let's move forward with it. I was voted no. Why? I don't know. Others have gotten their bills set aside as well, but mine wasn't. So obviously it was just to make it fail, and I did it. I knew I didn't have the votes. So if I'm going to go through that battle, no, I'm going to come back. I'm going to go back to a little bit here, and I'm going to redo my measure. And
right.
it's still going to come forward. I haven't given up on it.
Right, Senator.
But if you're going to do, yes.
I'm sorry, we're running out of time. So if you just want to get right to your closing statement, we got about a minute and a half.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it another shot for senator. I believe I did what I can and running as hard as I can from day one. And I've introduced tax cut bills to help the middle class and to stop this regressive tax on people. It's just totally wrong. I've introduced reorganization bills, public safety bills, hospital bills. It's just numerous. But really what I want to do for the people of Guam is to build the economy. And what that's going to take is some vision. There's measures out there that I put in place or introduced for new industries like the drone and flight simulators and like Amazon companies, inviting them to come on, fulfillment centers to come on over to Guam. We need new industries to come to the island, and we have to attract it, and we have to make business-friendly environment so we can hire our people, because these businesses are the ones that pay the tax. The general fund needs to be built not by taxes on the cost of goods, but by helping businesses do well, who hire people, who pay the taxes, and that's how we can help our economy grow. I want to give it one more opportunity as your senator. I'm going to come back and continue the fight. And I'm in the race, and I'm going to start right out of the gate, like you saw what I did in my first 35th Guam legislature, just running right from the start. And I'm going to continue with that speed. So I think the people of Guam can see what I can do, and I want to do much more. And I ask for your vote of confidence. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Senator. Good luck to you.
All right, Senator.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right. Thank
there you
very
go.
much.
Minority Senator Jim Moylan at 9:32. If you're just joining us, man, you missed out. It is our KUAM Decision 2020 candidate interviews Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to get you guys more info on your senatorial candidates, your mayoral, vice mayoral.
And
Mayor.